Well, hello there, this is Cuckoo, and this is the Nordwave 2. It's a synthesizer, fairly big, and I like it. I like the keyboard, I like the synth engines, and in fact, I like what Nord is doing in order to make everything as simple as possible. One might think that it's too simple, and if you compare it spec by spec with a more complex synthesizer, indeed, it seems like a very simple machine, but you can still do a lot of things with it. And I think with simplicity comes a user experience that is really, really nice. So what I want to do in this video is to check this out and show you a tutorial on how to make sounds with the different sound engines. So let's do that. Alright, so here it is, the Nordwave 2. It's a fairly large keyboard synthesizer with a bunch of different synthesis method on board. If we take a look here at the heart of the synthesizer, you can see FM, wavetable, analog, sample. So these four methods of creating sounds is on board. You can use all of them. There's layers. You can use 4 layers at the same time, and you can modulate with the mod wheel. There's aftertouch. There's a bunch of different things, some effects in the end here. But most of all, I think what Nord is really doing very well is to create an experience where it's really easy and efficient to get going and to create sounds and to use it. So the user experience is really good, I'd say. So what I want to do now is to create a sound from scratch. And we're going to take a look at some of the different ways of doing it. All right, so let's have a look at the different synthesis method here. We're at analog now, so let's check it out. It's not really analog, it's virtual analog. This is a completely digital synth. So all of the oscillator you can choose from here, they are working in a very similar way as different analog synthesizers would do, but they only have one oscillator control. So each of the synthesis methods here, they have just one way of changing the style of the oscillator, which might seem a little bit simple, but later on we also have a filter, we have effects, we have an EQ, delay, and reverb. So even if the oscillator has like very limited control, we can do stuff later on with it. We're now in the basic category. Very simple, you can't even change them, nothing happens, just basic waveforms. So let's check out the next category, shape. Yeah, so it's a triangle that slants. Yeah, how about? So some people are very interested and very picky about the raw waveform. What does like the actual raw waveform sound like? Like if we expect more bass down there, we can head over here to the EQ, turn it on like so, and now this EQ is turned on this layer. So all of these things you could do here, they're per layer, so you have all of this times 4. So the EQ is on. Let's turn up the bass. Yeah, so that's one way of making it fatter in the bottom, like in the bass region. Another way, I'm going to turn it off, is use a filter. So we've got a number of different filters. This is the filter. So right now it's on low pass 24. So let's wiggle the frequency to see what it sounds like. So let's press this. This low pass M stands for Moog. So I suspect I have like a collaboration with Moog there. Resonance. That's a pretty good sounding one. And then we got this special one, low pass plus high pass. But for this, I'd like to go all the way to high pass and see if we can find the frequency where the bass is. Like that. And then maybe key track it 1 to 1. There, so that the filter now will follow the keyboard. If it's both of them are lit, that means it's 1. Okay, so it's gonna track it 1 to 1. And the good thing about doing it like this, instead of using EQ, is that now this is done per voice. So where this is done on the whole mix, it's rhyming there, and then it's like EQ in the whole mix of all the tones. But right now, if we're doing it with the filter, it's polyphonic, so every note gets its own carefully tuned EQ. And this might lead to a cleaner sound. One thing that's cool is this little button here, on and off. So you can turn off the filter for referencing what it sounds like without the filter. That's great. Okay. Let's check out some more. Half sine. I'm gonna turn this off. Okay, parabolic. So that's the shape. Shape sine. Oh, this one is cool, I think. Shape sine, square. This one is one of my favorites. Once a sine wave gradually going to square. Somewhere around that. And if we would like this to move, it's already hooked up to do stuff like that. Again, trying to make it simple. Oscillator control is going to be animated or automated by this little here, oscillator mod envelope. So what we could do is just turn the amount. It's already hooked up to this. And by the way, as you're turning stuff, you might see stuff over here on the I don't know, second there. If this is the main, I don't know, on the left display. So gonna turn it up. These are not doing anything now, so I'm gonna press this button there to tell it where to send it. So send it to oscillator control. Slower attack. This is the starting point. Oh, like, yeah. That sound is pretty sweet. So now this is an envelope where you can select the attack and the decay or release. Now, if we would like this amount, to start out like this. And by the way, you can do negative as well. This is 0. And it's adding that value relative to where this is. So if we would like this to be soft velocity and this to be hard velocity, we could set it to the softest one. And let's see, this column here is called morph. So that all of these parameters can be caught and sent to different stuff that you twist. It's very simple to set up. You just press velocity. You can see on this screen here too what's going on. And wiggle whatever parameter you want to modulate from velocity. Like this. Mod amount, velocity, 6.8. So, yeah, I think I'll do a little bit more of that. Set it to 10. So taking our first steps here to make a responsive patch. And this is without the filter even on. So we're doing this, sounds kind of like a filter, but it's done on the oscillator. It's cool. And if we change the waveform now, it's going to apply that, what I just did that, to whatever I choose. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. Okay, so it's a bit snappy. It's like on off. So let's change the envelope here. There's the amp envelope. It's going to change how the volume is evolving over time as you press a button. So add some release time, for instance. Maybe shorter. Sustain, bring it down. Okay, let's also check this. I'm pretty curious about the drive. So I'm going to turn on the filter again. I'm going to take like this Moog filter and put it at a inaudible level. And then I'm going to use the drive and see what it sounds like. And this is also, it's a drive per voice. So this is not going to distort when you play polyphonic because it's per voice. This, however, if you use the, the drive here, that's going to distort when you play polyphonic because it's on the final mix. So that's kind of cool. Off. All right, let's try to add like a small reverb over here. It's like the last one. Press it on. Okay, so it's got like, what is it? 5 different reverb presets, and that's it. Stage, hall, cathedral, booth, room. Actually, I kind of like the room. It's not like epic. It's just, you can use it to give it a tad of just presence in a room. Like so. Maybe even less. That's nice. So right now, as you can hear, it's polyphonic. But we can turn it into a mono voice. If you change the voice mode here, like legato or mono. Also, when it's in mono, you can access the glide. When it's not in mono, the glide doesn't work. I kind of wish it did because I find it funny. Yeah, let's use the LFO here and do something. The LFO is like a sort of vibrato, low frequency oscillator that is animating a value up and down in these waveforms. So it could be like the triangle, for instance. We can send it to oscillator control, oscillator pitch, or filter. Oscillator pitch would be a vibrato. Faster. Yeah. So now when it's hooked up like this, this could be a performance tool like. Oh, we could hook this up to do this for us. Let's do it. Wheel, amount. As easy as that. This could also do stuff over here. Like, let's say we have a delay going. Oops. feedback with vibrato. Like so. Maybe with some. Okay, so now I set this to dry. And again, the wheel could do this too. That's nice. I did a little too much there. So just a tad of delay. Maybe less feedback. And maybe that could even go to the reverb. Oh, and say more reverb. Too much. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Let's store this. So if you press store, it's getting ready to store on the same slot we're currently at. I want to store on a new slot. So I'm going to press Shift and store as. Shift and store as. And I'm going to give it a name. And now conveniently, these buttons correspond to these. So I'm going to delete this and bring out the keyboard and say, give it a name. So I start all my patch names with a C, just C for cuckoo. And we're going to call it, oh, I know, Poink. That's a good name. And now I'm going to press store. And now store program 2, we can select an empty one there, press it again. Poink. But now, when we're updating the sound, I just need to store and store it again. Just press like that, double press it to store it on the same slot. Okay, so this is the level of this layer. This whole time we've been using layer A to create this sound. So let's press B here and create another sound. Ooh. And by the way, when you save this patch now, everything that is in all of the layers is going to be saved as one patch. This is one patch. It's not 4 patches. There are 4 different sounds, but it's all considered to be one patch. So we could experiment a bit and see if we can find a way to make a good key-off sound. I'm a big fan of key-offs. Like something that sounds when we lift it. I have an idea of how to do that. Head over to layer B. And as you can see, when I press A and B, it's just one sound. One is lighting up at a time. If I press both at the same time, both of them are being played. But now we just select which one we want to focus on. If we want to turn this off, sure, we can mix it down, but it's still on. If we want to completely turn it off, we could double press again in a fancy manner like so, or we could use this layer enable to more tidy select which one we want to turn on and off. In any case, let's create a key off sound, and I have an idea how to do it. First of all, let's try another synth engine. Let's go to wavetable and see what they sound like. Okay. So wavetables, that's a snippet of an audio recording basically, which is one cycle long. It could have a bunch of overtones in it, but it's very static. So category organ there, category keys, category digital, bells. Okay, that could be a good key of sound. And I suggest doing it with the filter in this case, because everything is so streamlined here. It's not like a modular where you can create all sorts of solutions, even though you can move and do stuff. I think one easy way to do this is to use the filter. So the filter could almost completely mute something like so. So we can do this basically, have release time on this sound, and make it so that it kind of starts down here, and when we release the key, we're gonna turn this frequency up. And conveniently, there is an invert envelope here. Shift and press. So first of all, what does this filter sound like when we do this? It has an attack, short attack, decay, low sustain, and envelope amount. And this is the regular way of kind of muting the frequency, like doing what we did there with the knob. If we want to reverse it, we're going to have to use invert envelope. So now it's upside down, essentially. So that means that we're going to think about where the sustain is. The sustain needs to be maximized. Yeah, and we actually have what we need. It's a bit long ring there. That kind of sounds like a key off on the Rhodes or something. And to kind of mask that hard beginning there, we can give it a little bit of attack. Okay, together. Activate both of them. It's fun, it's fun. So I'm gonna set the octave to the same on both of them. You can see if I go there, change the octave, go here, change the octave. They're independent. And you can see there's something called global there. Maybe if I press shift and global, this is gonna apply to both of the layers. For now, I'm gonna keep it as per layer. Okay, so lower. As you can hear, it kind of doesn't match up, but we managed to do what we wanted. Let's try some different categories. Flute. That sounds really in the same world, kind of. Yeah, I like it. Store, saved. So I just want to see what it feels like when adding a sample at this point. I'm going to just isolate this layer and see. I'm going to go to sample and see what it sounds like. Whoa, we've got strings there. And first, you can go by category here. So accordions. So what I'm after is like some sort of texture, brass, choir, effect, guitar plucked, mellotron. I'm just gonna see what all of these three sounds like. I think that was kind of fun. That's a cello. Let's try another one. Maybe I could use this. Just add some slow attack. Maybe add, I don't know, like a high pass filter. I put it like behind it in the room. EQ, change the top there. give it back some. Maybe a longer reverb. Slower release. How about this is silent? Well, I was gonna say and fade it in with this. Yeah, let's change some of this stuff going on here. So on this layer, we're gonna fade this up when turning the wheel. We're gonna change that other modulation wheel. Yeah, shift and press it to clear it. Maybe that could also make like give it some more ringtone. Yeah, wheel and release time. Too much. Maybe as I fade it in, I could also fade out this one. So we're at that one, wheel, and fade it down a bit. Maybe even more. Too much. Also give it back some of that delay we were doing before. Slower. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice sound. Store. So there's one synthesis method we haven't checked out. It's called FM. I like FM. Gonna do this, initialize, program. Yeah, the whole thing. We're back. So I'm gonna press this again and go to FM and see what it sounds like. Yeah, we've got so now it's simplified. You still have all the layers, but the layers cannot modulate each other. So each level, each layer has its own way of creating its own sound. So with FM synthesis, typically you have a lot of operators modulating each other. Here you're limited to what can be going on one layer, and then you can do something completely different on another layer. And so you can create like multiple operators, but they cannot operate each other from the different layers. But let's see what it sounds like. Okay, so again, we've got categories and waveform. The categories here is, as you can see here, different constellations of how the operators are set up and how many of them. And oscillator control is the amount of modulation. So we've got some classic ones. I'm gonna make like a slow attack, slow release, oscillator control, amount. Okay, let's change this. Yeah, And next one. Next one. So in this case, this one is modulating the next one, and yeah. And you can just basically search for the sound that you want. Okay. And the last couple of ones, they're called inharmonic, and that means you can set the pitch. These could be kind of sharp and harsh, and maybe you want to EQ them. I think like the bass EQ works really well on FM. If you want to create like a nice FM sound, like a pew or something, quick attack. Turn this off. Too much amount. And then I'm gonna take another layer and create an overtone there. Also FM, amount, oscillator control. And I'm gonna give it like something like that, maybe. I'm gonna play them together. So now we got this and this together. Maybe a third one with a true overtone there. All of them. Okay, so now I'd like to give all of the layers some bass at the same time, but when I do this, I'm gonna just change whatever layer is selected. So we can see this group thing lighting below here. We can see group here. So let's press this, say group, group, group. This is now a group. Group. It is now a group. So everything that is now a group, we can see some stuff can be grouped here. This one can be group. It's a group. So now I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna turn it on. Change the drive. It's on all of the sounds. Yeah. So now if we set this to group, the reverb. Now when we made this a group, it's going to apply the same setting on all of them. If we now turn off the group, it's going to be left at that position. Maybe we could take like this layer with the high pitch attack and turn off the reverb on that layer. Yeah, I think that improved it. Right, so one thing I haven't talked about is the arpeggio. Let's turn it on. Nice. So now, as you can see, as it's not part of the group right now, it's only going to run on the current layer that I turn it on for. So if I turn it off here, turn it on here, it's going to be used on that one. Which is really cool because all of them have their individual arpeggio setting now. Okay, so what is the arpeggiator? Well, it can play like this. Down, up, down, random. Or it can play a pattern. So if we press shift and pattern here, it's now going to follow a rhythmical pattern. So there's a pattern here, pattern here. So this is for actually showing the pattern, shift and pattern. And now that we have the pattern here, we can change it. Right now, this is set to polyphonic, so that it's firing off all the notes that I press each step. If I turn it to arpeggio, so in this case, maybe this layer that we're on, it would be really nice if it was a bit quieter and if it was higher up than the other layers. If it had a release time. Maybe it could actually climb a bit higher. This is the range of the whole arpeggio. It's going to take whatever I press here and duplicate it up. This could have, like, I'm only on this layer now, so this could have some delay. And now it's becoming a totally different sound. So I want to give this like a slow attack here. Yeah. Yeah. So back to the arpeggio. We can select by different presets. And you can see this is in stereo. So if we go to page number 2, it's like edit page 2. We can select stuff. Now on this page, there's a cursor. We can input gates. We could turn this off. Turn this off. We could essentially clear up the whole sequence now. So now nothing should happen. We're still just on layer B here. So layer B is the one where we have the arpeggio activated. So now let's press gate. So just one there. Go here, press gate, gate, gate. So in this way we could, if we want a longer one, we could like a short dum dum dum. Like this one could be longer. Press and hold and drag it. Like so. It's a bit chaotic there. And what we could do here is also, you can see pan. You could press pan to set to right, left, or center per key. So right, left, center, left, right, center. Let's see. And this speed, it could be synced. But right now, this is freestyling. So this is slow. If I turn on arpeggio on a different one, So if I give this a little slower attack here, a bit more delicate. Save. Nice, okay. If you enjoy the stuff that I do here on YouTube, please consider throwing some donation. I greatly appreciate it. I thank you everyone for doing that over at Patreon. In my next video with the Nordwave, I think I'm gonna jump deeper in how to create your custom sample sounds and create a specific patch for a specific performance, and end the video by making a little performance. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you want to buy my patches and sample packs, head over to my web store and t-shirts. But if you're supporting me on Patreon at a monthly basis, you also got access to all of my sample packs. Peace out, everyone. Take care. Peace. Always stay curious, everyone.